everyone, welcome back to Lac du Coron for the next blog. A few of you have mentioned that they weren't quite as regular as I'd promised, so hopefully the next couple of minutes will sort of give you a real update on what's been going on, and there's plenty of it. You joined me very early December, really beautiful early winter's day, high pressure today, but we've had sort of warmish weather, sort of 14 to 15 degrees during the day, and low pressure with rain, etc. for the last couple of days, and the fish are still really active. So yeah, really nice time to be down here doing some work and a bit of fishing while I'm at it behind me. I'm in swim 1, or the down wall, the first swim you arrive in. As you can see, it's dug out, but that's as far as we're going at the moment. We're not 100% sure how high the water level will go over the winter, so before we fill it with wood chip that's likely to float away, we'll leave it as it is, ready to go. We've put drainage in the swims as well. There's obviously all 5 swims, or 4 swims, one of them being a double. Have all got drainage in them, so if you do get a heavy downpour, which is fairly rare sort of during the peak season, but when you do, you won't be in 2 inches of water in seconds. Every swim's at a slight gradient, not really noticeable, but enough for water to trickle down to the front, down the ditch and straight into the lake. Just little things like that we've tried to do to make sure it's comfortable. So the last time we spoke, we were only a few days away from the big dig, and if those of you that have been following Lac du Coron on Facebook and Twitter will have seen that was eventful and very interesting, but now, as you can imagine, sort of 6 weeks later, that's very definitely completed. It's going to be a really stunning little area. Actually, it's been designed not as a swim or an area for a specific swim or a permanent swim. It's actually a stalking slash sort of chill out area for the carp. So stalking area for you guys to keep an eye on. There'll be lots of reeds. We've planted over 100 reeds down there, lots of bushes and overhangs. There's little islands, dot islands, gravel bars, slate bars, deep holes in the clay, slate all the way through as well. We've taken all the silt out, desilted most of the channel as well, so that's a good sort of half a foot, 2/3 of a foot deeper. And as I say, yeah, it's for stalking, and it's also an area for them to go and spawn in. Hopefully they'll spawn in there because it is the shallowest part of the lake. When it's full, it'll probably be 2.5 to 3.5 foot deep, and obviously with all the weed and reeds and stuff down there, it should be the perfect place for that to happen. And also, if they're getting hammered, hooked a fair few times, etc., it's always nice for them to have a safe spot. Not a safe spot that they just live in because no one can fish for them, because you can stalk them out of there, as I say, but just a nice little place for you to have a stalk and for them to get away. As I say, we've done the swims as well. We've put paths through the wood, as well as the car park area, which has all been scraped cleaned of all the brambles, etc. So those in the double, you can now drive straight into the middle of the wood, park in the middle, and then you've got 15-20 metre track, little path through the woods down to your peg. So what else has been going on? On top of that, we've been clearing out the original shed. There's a shed here on site, and that houses all of the electrics and the water mains, etc., all of the dashboards. So what we've decided to do is call that the Hyde, for swims 1 and 2, which is the down wall that I'm in now, and Rolos, which is sort of 50-60 metres further down the bank. That will be your sort of mini lodge. So we're putting a window in there so that you can see out onto the water. It's got electric, obviously, it's got water, so we can stick a kettle in there. There'll be some nice carpy picks in there as well. We'll get some seating in there, and for you guys down here, especially those coming in sort of the winter time, that'll be a really nice place to sort of chill out, get out of the element. And it's just an alternative to the lodge, which is the opposite end to where I am now. Going on to the lodge, that's now all ordered and decided on. We're not going to go for a massive great one, sort of the typical sort of metal shed. We've gone for a slightly smaller one, but a chalet style, with pitched roof and wood cladding and a little chimney and stuff. So it sort of fits in a little bit better with what we're doing down here. Yeah, on top of all the work that's gone on, we've also, as you might well have seen through the Facebook and the blog, etc., on the website, we have hand selected a few fish already. I've picked them not only because they look great, and you know, three of them are very scaly and pretty, but also because they had the shape and the stature to grow really big. There's no point just sticking in a load of huge fish all at one age group, because in 10 years time we'll be thinning out. So we're thinking about the future. So you might well have a few 20s when you come down, good 20s, but you know, in a few years time they'll be mid 30s, so no problem there. On top of that, you might have noticed that I did a night last week on Wednesday, absolutely hammered it down, had to dig a new drainage ditch, to make sure that the swim didn't flood. So I've definitely tested that one, and it now doesn't, but it would. So that's all fixed. Loads of little commons which are being moved to the stock ponds. I think we moved 11 or 12 little commons around the sort of £5 to £10 mark. And also you might have noticed that I had that original, one of the four fish that I think the four fish that I've seen quite regularly on the back bank there. £32 on the nose. I've no doubt it's never been caught before. I know the owners, or are still in touch with the owners from over 20 years of this water, and they never knew it was in here, or they never knew what was in here. Finally, feed wise, we've started feeding. Obviously we've got new fish in here, so I want to make sure that they're fit and healthy from the off, and while it's still warm enough for them to be active, the feed's going in. They're getting a lot, mainly maize at the moment, with a good percentage of giant barley, as well as a really liberal scattering of boilie, maybe 10-15 kilo a week. And taking into account there's only sort of probably 25 fish in here that will stay in here, that's quite a lot of bait really. Boilie wise that's been going in, it's a real mixture, although obviously we've got Coron specials and they do make up a large percentage of what they eat. I didn't want to have a situation where those guys that are loyal to a specific bait firm, or have faith in a specific bait, bring it here and can't get a bite purely because they're totally tuned into a house bait. They will love that bait and they will get a lot of it, but because we've been putting the sauce, the crave, monster tiger nut and the Coron specials in at the moment, and we've got a load of spicy tuna to go in as well. They're all different shapes, colours, flavours and sizes. So hopefully when you guys turn up with the Cell or B5, whatever it may be, it won't be it won't be a crap session purely because the fish are clued into something else. They'll eat everything. So that's about it. I babbled on a little bit longer than I'd hoped, which is always the case, but just thought I'd give you a really quick update, show you a few bits and bobs from around the lake that you might not have seen if you're not following us on social media. Thank you for watching the vlogs again. Obviously we've still got plenty of availability next year, especially for singles and doubles if you don't want to hire the whole lake. So best thing to do is drop me an email, nick@impactanglingmedia.com, drop me a PM or a DM through Twitter or Facebook, or visit www.lacducoron.com and drop us a line through one of the contact us tabs on there.